Alright, so what are we doing today? Getting on here just, I guess, kind of information, maybe to help somebody out. I used to do some like how-tos and informational videos on this channel, and racing has kind of took it over here in the last little bit, because that seems to be what we're running and doing a lot of here in the last little bit. We still got a lot of stuff that we do in the shop, and I'm bad for not videoing it or anything like that. I'm going to try to get back into videoing some stuff, but we'll see how it goes. This is mainly to give you some part numbers on the, it'd be like the 25 Husqvarna TE300 Pro. So I broke my rear fender off this last race. Going up the Pro Hill the second lap, I looped the bike out, it hit the fender, broke her off. And then the next 3 laps I run without the fender and realized how much you appreciate having that back fender back there. Definitely if you have a creek section in your race. It kind of threw water all up on me during those, which that part ain't that bad because, you know, I'll dry out. But it also threw water into my airbox. That one's a little more concerning. Definitely if it gets into the engine and causes any issues. Luckily mine didn't. I didn't even notice how much water had been dumping into it until, you know, we checked filters and everything after all our races, see if we need to change filters, and we do oils and all that. But the filter had mud all over it and was dripping with water because of the fender. It left a gap to where all the water was able to come in. So definitely got to get the fender back on there. We raced again this coming weekend in Bowling Green with the MSXC. So wanted to get this fender on there, and I had trouble finding the Gray for the Pro part number for it. So usually I'll look up part numbers and then search and, you know, figure out where I can get the best deal and make sure I can get it in time. Well, this one I could not find a part number that specifically said that it was this fender, because I think they come in a gray, a white, and maybe a yellow. I'm not for sure about the yellow, but none of the part numbers really distinguished which was which. So I ended up ordering that one through the dealer. That way I could ensure that I got the right one. But if you want that part number, here it is. So that top number is going to be your Pro Gray. And this one's going on a 25 T300. I think there's a few other years there that it'll fit if you want it. Now this bottom part number is for the rear number plate. That one, everywhere that I found it for the 300 Pro, it was on back order. Well, I ended up using the part number to find it from a company on eBay, but they were advertising it for the 150, the TE150. They didn't say that it would fit the 300, and if you put the, you know, where you put in what does it fit, it'd say it didn't. Well, I took a chance because, I mean, part numbers for Husqvarna, if it's one part number, it should technically be the same across the board. Took a chance because I needed it, ordered it. It was around $100 for just this part, and it did break both of them whenever I broke it. And this is the correct part. It will fit the 300 too. So got hit, and make sure that you do your light. Put that light in, because I snapped it into the rear fender once and forgot to put the light in, and then couldn't snake the wiring harness through there. And it snaps in hard. I had to use a screwdriver to get it to pop in. Once it's in there good. So just kind of be aware of that. One other thing is even though I'm running a gray fender, I run a graphics that's the same color. So technically, I guess I could have went with a different color fender. But I got Mike at Astro. He takes care of all my graphics. Need graphics jerseys. Get him up. He does a good job. But he's supposed to be getting me another graphic coming at some point in time, so we'll get that on there. Also had a bolt issue that's, I don't know if this is really informative, but it's just information on something you might want. So I don't know if it got pulled out when it broke, one of these bolts, or if it already backed out because it didn't pull the threads out of where that bolt goes. So I'm assuming maybe it rattled out and just wasn't there to start with. But the dealer had trouble finding that bolt. My wife went and picked this up. I don't know if they just had trouble with it on the schematics, or maybe they're just really good salesmen, because they sold me this bolt kit, which is a Euro style track pack 2 bolt kit. I'll show you the part number, but it'd be a really handy kit to have in your toolbox, because it seems to have about one of any bolt that would be on your bike. Not the motor, but as far as like the outside, it's even got like subframe bolts or bolt stuff like that. Now that's going to be your that 020-00104 Euro style track pack 2. And there's what I had to give. It was a little over 20 bucks. And that rear fender was normally a 121, discounted at 96. It's a little pricey. You can definitely get an aftermarket fender cheaper than that. Like I said, you know, I gave quite a bit extra money to have the Pro, so I'm wanting to keep the Pro parts on it if I can. But that's that. I'll try to add the video in of where I actually broke the fender, if I can get that edited. I'm not the greatest at editing videos, so we'll see how that goes. But besides that, we're going to snap this part together and go out and put it on the bike. It ain't that big of a deal. Literally once this snaps into this, which is a little tough. You've got 6 bolts up front. You've got 2 here, 2 there, and then there's 2 more that comes through this part. Just make sure with your shoulder bolts. This one here goes in through the bottom. These come in through the top, like where your seat is. The bottom is 2 pieces of plastic, so it takes a thicker shoulder bolt. But I'm gonna get that on, get ready for racing this weekend. Y'all ain't got nothing to do, come out and watch or race or have a good time in Bowling Green with the MSXC. But we'll see you there, or see you later. Y'all have a good one.